And hello and welcome everyone to You Heard It From Us Live, where we talk about all things nerdiness, gaming, D&D, crafting, podcasting, everything you can think of online live because we got tired of just talking to ourselves. Once again, I'm Dungeon Master Eguile.
And I'm D&D wife.
And we're a couple of nerds. We're just two here that like to discuss things, talk, argue, and just kind of see what people's hot takes are online, which is why we open always the entire conversation to you, anyone who is watching. Anytime you want to ask anything, please shoot it out. We'll see it there in the middle, and we try as best we can, unless D&D gets into a rant over here, and we try to address every comment that we get.
Yeah. I'll try not to fall into my habits.
It's great. But tonight's topic, if you are joining us today, or if you're joining us first, we tend to take a simple topic or an idea, and we just kind of look at what our opinions are, and our fans and our listeners, and just kind of shoot their shot. So any hot takes, we love to hear. So if you have anyone or any of them, please send them. But tonight's topic today is about the massive world of online multiplayer gaming. We actually is one of these rare topics where we can say we're quite veterans, as we have played a significant amount of online games, probably not to the context of some of our friends and other people we know, but we feel we have had a lot of experience with this. But we notice that there's a lot within the community, and that even though all of the different games or publishers, or even if it's console versus PC, they're all very much fragmented from each other. And what we see now is that, it goes to, not only is it the do you play online, but also what game do you play? And that really kind of determines a lot about the culture, or what kind of, what kind of environment you're going to get when you play. And so the one topic I was really kind of where this kind of spawned off of is, obviously I've been streaming. If you've been following us on Twitch, I play a little bit of Marvel Rivals. I've been trying to play a little bit of that competitive. If you haven't been following, because if you don't follow nerdy news, especially with Marvel Rivals, there is such ridiculousness as like what was a healer strike and now a tank strike. And I think this is it's the microcosm that shows the incredible ridiculousness that has become online gaming.
A little bit.
I mean,
I don't understand it.
Right, yeah. I mean, DNDWife, she deals with her own issues online, but she's always laughing when I'm telling her, like, no one's playing healer. No, it's a strike. And it's like, this is a video game. Like, we're here to have fun. But there's so much drama surrounding every time you play, because you find, there's so many people that have their different interpretations of what is good play or what is the right play.
And then obviously you get those people who intersperse that are bad, that are trolls, or that are cheating. And that makes it all sorts of muddled,
Yeah, like I mean, back in the day, we would play Age of Conan online, and so we tried the public servers, which is usually your first entrance into the world of online games, if it's not like a shooter or something. And, you just get griefers who will either box you in, or just, their job is to make your life or your game a living hell. And it's always funny to me with like how that happens as games go. Like, right, when Marvel Rivals first came out, it was this whole idea that it was going to be this new mecca, because it was meant to be a casuals game, because that was the whole point. It wasn't meant to be really competitive. But now you see all these streamers and all these content creators like losing their shit over all these things, to the point where we're quote unquote protesting. But when I play the game, none of that shit happens. Like, there's nobody going, I'm protesting, because it's rage bait. It's all it is. No one's actually doing this in the game. All this does is harm others from starting to play, right? You go, oh, well, this is how rival players are. This is how Minecraft players are. But it's really just what you see being propagated online that actually isn't anything special, or actually what's going on in the actual server.
No, I mean, I've watched you play quite a few games, and I've never seen anyone be like, I'm on strike.
Right. I mean, there's always that. I don't get this, obviously. I don't have the voice that gets mistaken. But I mean, obviously, being a female player, I mean, you're always told, oh, if you play a game, they're just going to treat you like, trash. But for most of the games you play, I mean, you have a fairly positive experience.
Very much so. I don't think I've really ever dealt with much I don't know, abuse or whatever from the online gaming community. Even when I was playing like League of Legends, I was a girl. I said I was a girl. It was like my name was a girly name. Like yeah, it was kind of known, and I never got like it's because you're a
Right.
girl.
And so there is, and I think it's very similar, and this is a little tangent, is like it's like the car crash videos.
Yeah.
It creates this idea that like everywhere out there is like car crashes, when in reality it's very small. But then so you're told it's like every online game you play, you're gonna be harassed, you're gonna be hassled, you're gonna have these
Or
problems.
you're gonna get told you suck all the time.
Right, and it's like, okay, well, some games, because there are some toxic games, but they do that to everyone.
Or if you're actually bad, people might tell you.
Right, and so it is this kind of thing where it's like, you have to kind of pick your community and build your own community too, because it really is what you make of it online, right? Like, so, these game developers make these games, but then after that, they're not really paying attention or doing anything. They expect us to do it. So if we create this, just flaming pile of shit because we're just constantly wishing to cause chaos, because that's what half of us are out there.
I mean, World of Warcraft is like a perfect example.
I mean, honestly, that example to me, it really just shows a lot about MMOs too, in that, they're making more money making classic and remaking the original and reducing things and going back to the stuff that no one wants to play the new stuff. And it's just because it's getting too complicated, right? It's hard to find a community. You're told either it's too toxic or it's too hard, and then you never actually start playing.
No.
Right?
Or you get like one taste of that and you're like, oh, it's all like this, and you're done.
And I mean, for you, I think you went through kind of a big hurdle because, I had played, Aeon Online, all the WoW, everything, right? But when we played Final Fantasy 14, that was really your first jumping into, and you did the whole grind.
From level 1 all the way through Heaven's Ward up and everything. Yeah, it was good. It was a grind, but it was good. And now I appreciate the story so much more because of that. And I think it's important to do that, to just take the slow path.
Yeah. And it just shows that, like, most of the game is how you make it, right? For us, if you've seen a little bit of our announcements, we've been trying to find an online community because it's always kind of tough and it's a struggle to, find, and you got to kind of test them out. And sometimes you have to play a week in an online server of such. But we ran into an individual who we started playing with, and he kind of posts that, he's always like, fun is the game. It doesn't matter what it is. How do you want to have fun? And that's what we're going to do. And by meeting someone with like that type of, philosophy, it really helped.
Yeah. And like says, that was me. I didn't grow up with games, so I'm pretty bad at multiplayer shooters, especially. The one time I tried, I was shit, talked off the game. Oh, yeah, that happens, right? For that, it has to do with practice. Sometimes there are certain games that are very skill-based, and we have to kind of put in that effort. But if it's not a community that we feel is encouraging that kind of growth, then maybe that's not the right community, so you kind of go and find which one fits.
Plus, a lot of times, and I know this, a lot of people get put off by it, but I feel like that's always the hurdle with online games. Like, it's like there's a sea of shit talkers always at the beginning, right? Because no one, the shit talkers never become the good lifelong players. They always start and end, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you have to like get through that first, and then usually you're gonna find the good nougat, the good players.
Yeah.
What's the Entling says? Wish more people took that positive reinforcement approach for sure. Well, right. I mean, and I think that's what it needs to be. But I also think there is that thing where, the online community isn't there to baby you either,
Good point.
and I think there is a lot of, where it's like you get into a game and you're just like, oh, well, everyone should have to help me. I don't have to read the manual. I don't have to play the tutorial.
Right.
A lot of times I've seen that where it's like the first question is like, oh, well, did you see the tutorial? What tutorial? It's
Did
like,
you play it? No.
Well, you don't drive a car before you go to, driver's training.
Yeah.
You learn
You get your
first
license
before you
first.
just go, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you want to take that same approach, and I think that's, a big one. And so, as we always do, we kind of look at, our hot takes for this one, and we usually do for the topic. And this is kind of a good segue for my own. And this is where I really feel like the community building comes into play, is that I feel if you're online, if you're playing an online game, that has a voice mechanic built into it. So if there's a mechanic to chat, you should have a microphone.
Oh yeah.
I think it should be mandatory. You
think
know,
so, too.
it's part of the game. It's part of the way that you build more of an exposure. But it's, you know, we play Project Zomboid online.
Yep.
And that has like the proximity chat, which a lot of games are using now.
Yep.
And there's nothing crazier than like hearing a conversation off in the distance or
Yeah.
or, you know, being able to actually communicate with someone and hear their voice and know that it's a real person, right?
Oh, right.
And
So
it gets a
cool.
little harder for people to grief you when they have to actually say it out loud.
Yeah. Or you can hear them coming.
Yeah, and so, you know, it's tough when, you know, you're talking to someone and all you get is little chat bubbles or you have to look at the chat or
It's
whatnot.
like 5 minutes
And
as
I-
they're typing.
And I think that's ridiculous in this day and age. For you not to have a microphone in this way, in any way, I mean,
at least if you're trying to play those kinds of games,
you know,
right?
if we look around our office, like we use microphones that are nice, but we have like the mic on the webcam, our cell phones, our earbuds, the cameras, the phones, the
Everything
tablets.
has a mic nowadays.
So the idea of not having, you know, a microphone to communicate to me is so ridiculous in the online world. And you know, be like, oh well, you're you know, what are this? What they can't speak? Now, barring you know, the inability to speak is one thing,
Right.
but I think the main premise of if you are going to be playing online, whether it's even on a console, you should be talking. You should have that community because it's also going to hold you a little more accountable.
That, and you know, for some games it's kind of necessary, right? For games like Rivals, you
Yeah.
kind of need to communicate.
Oh, it's a
You
whole-
have to, and it's
the difference between
it's
bronze
a
and
time
silver.
thing. You have to be able to communicate in real time, otherwise it's too late. The moment has passed.
Yeah. I mean, you were talking too, like you try to even find games and then they're like shut down before you get a chance to even go back to them.
Oh yeah, right. That's always fun. There've been a few. One is not shut down, but I do have a problem with it. It's Nikki Infinity. I would play that like so much.
It takes up so much space.
It takes up so much space on my phone, but I made space for it because I loved the outfits and they were gorgeous. But they just released a patch that made it like super easy for new players to get everything, and then it makes it super expensive to get new outfits. So it does kind of ruin the game
outfits.
for me. I mean, it's the whole point of the game is the outfits. So
I think that's also like a big thing with a lot of these online games and communities. It goes like two ways. They'll either like shut it down because they're like, oh, we're not making any more money. We'll shut down the server, and then the private community has to kick in, or they start monetizing the shit out of it, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, like you were just saying, I think, you know, we had the same problem in 14. So if you've played Final Fantasy 14. Before the Realm Reborn, there were items you could get that you only could have that signified you played before the remake. And it was a set of earrings, wasn't fancy, but it was just a marker to be like, hey, you were here before all this happened. And then I remember, I think it was a couple years ago, they made it a purchasable item within the game.
yeah.
That's bullshit. That, you know, and that's because, I mean, there's nothing... For me,
It's so messed up.
For me, the MMO communities thing is about the collectibles. It's
Yeah.
about the items that they can put back to where they are. We
And the
play 14.
achievements they represent.
The houses that this woman has built for us, and we literally pay rent in Eorzea because we have to pay our subscription fees so that we don't lose our homes, even though we don't play 14.
Cheaper than your
but
real
it's
life
because,
rent.
but it's because it's the memories connected to the years and years and years we played. So when it becomes items become everywhere and it's not as significant anymore, it sucks, you know, and that makes it tough on the online community. And nothing's worse than losing like your old guard to new people. I mean, I get new blood is important, but when they, you know, they quit playing in 3 months and you change your whole game, and you know, it's kind of whack.
A little bit to cater to the new, just to grab a quick buck, or I don't know. It ruins the game for everyone, and that's not the only game either. That's just a cell phone game. Pal World's getting screwed too because they've had to rewrite part of their code again to try to appease Nintendo.
I know,
it's
with
ridiculous.
the latest news of them having to essentially take out the gliding. Now that you no longer glide with an animal.
I mean, every game has gliding now. Every game.
Well, it's their whole thing, like, oh, it's not used by a creature. But then there's been, you know, the community comes out and shows all the examples where it was done prior to, you know, Pokemon or Nintendo company doing that. Right. I mean, it just shows that, like, I think where it really goes is once it gets into the hands of like the people. So like we for the last 2 weeks have been diving in headfirst into Project Zomboid multiplayer,
yeah,
right?
so good.
And that's an example of it being taken, monetized by the players because it's independently ran by a YouTube creator known by Harvest and his admin group. And it's all free, but you can donate to it. And it's just a way to keep the game going because one, the game doesn't have 100-player multiplayer. So he's created a custom way to do this. And two, it's for the players. There's no way that the game company is going to come in and monetize this. We have our own rules, and you even see like microcosm communities be built because it's not being enforced in any kind of rules. Sure, there's not a bunch of new players joining daily, but it is something that is kind of interesting.
I don't know, every now and then I see a new person pop up. You helped out a newbie the other day.
I did, but it was a returning newbie, so that
point.
I don't know if that counts as much.
Yeah, I don't know. That has to be weighed. We'll see. But I'm not done shitting on Nintendo. I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here because
your
now
rant for this one.
They've also introduced their new terms of service.
Are you on the one for the Switch too?
And I don't know if this is it, but they've introduced new terms of service, which allows them to brick your console if you do anything that violates their terms.
The hacking one, where the whole console
It's like, I get it. It kind of sucks if people do that, but like bricking the whole system, maybe just not let them use the game.
I mean,
you do that.
Right, because what that ends up creating, it's this whole issue of like concept of ownership, right? Like if I bought it, like what I do with it is my business as long as, like they were saying, the let them have Endling supporting you right here on this rant.
Thank you.
Because really it's like, block them out of the store, the online stuff, that's still, their product, but the console itself, like if I want to, take off the programming and run Windows on it, that's my right. I own it.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean there's a lot going on with Nintendo right now, which is fairly interesting in the long run.
Trying to rewrite copyright law and shit.
I mean, there's that, and there's the control rights for the game cartridges and stuff like that, which I think it's gonna be a long time and a long battle, because I think this is just the next step in gaming. We're seeing in other kind of gaming communities where it's like this. What is what is copyrightable, what is actually patentable, and it's tough because it's like these are concepts and ideals. How do you patent concepts and ideals without being just a complete jerk, and it's like to the point where it's like, yeah, you can, but you probably shouldn't.
And then you also run into the idea sometimes people have the same idea and they just
in different times in different places. I mean, we've talked about it if you've watched episodes of Traveler's Chronicles where, we're talking months before it happens in shows like Critical Role or Dimension 20, but then we get the whole, oh, you copied them. It's like, look, everybody copies everybody, but at the same time, there's only so many ideas and you're going to kind of overlap no matter what in one way or another.
I mean, D&D is a fantasy adventure theme. There's only so many things you can do within fantasy, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of this, when we talk about like the online gaming community also affects, Dungeons and Dragons players. I mean, I'm curious if there are people out there that are like, using, Baldur's Gate to, do mini campaigns. I always heard that they were going to always try to create a dungeon master mode, but I think with where Larian Studios has stepped out, I don't think that's ever going to happen. But we've seen D&D push for this kind of more online table community. But my worry is it's going to go exactly like D&D Beyond, and then it's just going to be another thing where, oh, you want the Orc Mini? Well, that's going to be another $9.95, and another this, another that, and it's just going to end up again. That's kind of what ends up happening to most of these online communities. It's like, when you have a community where players play for years, and so they're not against this idea of like, hey, it's going to take you days. The idea of dailies, monthlies, weeklies doesn't bother MMO players, but it doesn't help new players when they see that grind. So it encourages them to keep putting these like cheats and freeze. I think the craziest thing, and this is a little bit off of the multiplayer aspect, but I'm a Final Fantasy player. Like I'm a straight single player games and stuff like that, right? it's crazy to me now that you can pay money to buy levels in a single player game.
Yeah.
Right?
What?
So like you can get to, 50 level plus 10 levels for $9.99.
Frankly, I think it's bullshit that you can pay levels for anything.
I mean,
but
it is. It's ridiculous. And I
whatever.
mean, well, because it's clearly paid to win. And when
this
it's
is even worse.
And when it's a single player game, you can do it because there is no legality
Yeah.
to it. Because it's like, okay, well, you're paying to win against the computer, not another player.
Right, who cares?
But that's really the main gripe right now is that, so many of these onlines, especially if they're free to play, they're either going to put such a time hassle in order to keep encouraging new players to pay before they play.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what's going to eventually lead. It's like the cell phone shit is bleeding more into the PC and console stuff now.
Like it.
And we really need to see the end of it because that's really what the issue that comes to hand. Now, what I thought was really cool and another little side point was we've recently been seeing a lot of these turns of people finding and going into dead MMOs.
Yeah, I love seeing those on YouTube.
One that we want to point out, and this was a point, and I know D&D Wife's going to have a lot to say about this, was their.com.
Oh, yeah.
We heard a great story. Find it. We'll link it into the Discord after this episode. We encourage people to watch it. It's a great microcosm about multiplayer games
really
and the
nice.
communities that are generated in the. Get rid of the griefers, get rid of the ragers, get rid of the money, and it's just the fans.
Yeah.
And it's an
Keeping
old
a game alive just with their fandom.
Just with their fandom. It's a very old game, and it just shows that there will always be people playing. There are always going to be these people there.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in playing these games, they're out there. You just have to show them that you are too, because in this world of online gaming, there's a lot of people that want to do bad things, right? Just like in the world.
Always.
And so it's hard to know the good from the bad. So like when we joined Project Zomboid, it took us a while for people to warm up because you kind of have to show you want, role play a bit, get into the game,
be in it.
Be in it.
Prove you want to be there, essentially.
And it really, you'll really start to find the real community within the groups.
And I guess that's my hot take for this one.
Okay.
Because I think we should be more open to joining communities. I think technology has been a little bit of the issue here, where we've kind of shrank away as a society from community, and we've become very individualistic. Right? So like if you don't think like me, or if we don't like the same things, then we can't be friends. But that's not necessarily the case. I think we should be more open to finding the community that's right for us, right? So sure, we might go through a few that don't fit or that aren't nice to us, but that shouldn't discourage us from trying to find the one that's right. And I think a lot of us do get discouraged really quickly, and it's always tough, right? Because it does hurt your feelings. We're all people. We're all human. We all don't want that rejection sometimes, but just know that even if it is rejection, it's because that's not the right community for you. It's always about finding what works for you. The community that's for you will want you there and will accept you there.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, to tell a personal example from us where we've, I think, just been touched by the community. And I think it's a better one to have you go on is how you got your PlayStation 4.
Oh, yeah.
I think you should share that story. It's a great story about online communities.
Yeah. It was DM Eguile had been playing Final Fantasy 14 for a long ass time, right? And we had just been dating. We had just gotten married, and we were both trying to play the game on one console. So we each had to play at separate times. We couldn't play together.
Like a couple hours, then trade.
Yeah, I didn't have a computer. Or I think I did, but it was like a laptop. No way it could run it. Yeah, no way it could run it. And so we were struggling for a while, but one of the people in our guild, just like, I don't know, popped in Mary Poppins style.
To
and
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she messaged me one night and was like, hey, I want to give your wife a Christmas present. What's your address? Now, online, someone asking address, I'm just like, I was a little reluctant. But, we did know these people for a while. So we ended up coordinating. And she ended up buying the PS4, the game, all the expansions, everything you need to just jump in and start playing.
And she included a mount. A paid for
mount. And then bought like a bunch of cosmetic stuff for all of us for like $30 mounts for everybody.
It was crazy. It was just such a show of kindness, and it showed me that there's always some community out there for everyone.
Yeah. And then she ended up leaving the group,
Yeah.
going to a different server and helping other
Doing the
people.
same
And we
thing.
heard stories that were helping other
Yep.
people. I mean, it's just
She's
so
the Mary Poppins.
it just
of
shows
Final
that like
Fantasy.
you might hear this rage baity shit out there.
Yeah.
You know, this oh Marvel strikes and oh everybody yells
Everyone
and
hates
there's
each other.
you know, unless it's Call of Duty, you know, where
Yeah.
you got that kind of garbage. But
Or
most
Fortnite.
other, you know, MMOs out there, there is a community out there you can reach. Just like
Yeah.
the Couple of Nerds community, you know, we're out there. It's just we're a little defensive. We have a shell, and we
shy.
know that there are other people out there a lot. So you have to kind of, you know, put your flag out there, see what you find, and hope that, you know, you find kind of like-minded individuals. But, you know, that's the goal because, you know, like us and many of our viewers, we're kind of introverts. We're the people that like to hide out. We like to play video games. We like to stay up late in our offices and hide out. So it's tough to find others like us because we don't leave our homes.
Not often.
So when we have like online communities and places to go and stuff like that, it's very important to us, and it's very important for us with our community. And just as an update, we are super excited now. We are almost at 100 YouTube subscribers.
Yay!
We
So
never
excited.
thought in a million years we could build a community like this.
Yeah.
Our Discord has been growing as well as our Twitches.
Oh yeah, so excited.
We cannot thank everyone so much for all the support, all the followings. And once again, as we get to that 100, we will be doing a raffle drawing for everyone in order to select a custom mini to be painted by DNDWife live on stream for everyone to begin watching. Yeah, YouTube has been blowing up. We're getting, you know, I'm posting stuff that's getting 25,000 views and over 1,000 likes. It seems like our content is really starting to kind of reach out there and get to people, which is really awesome. Thank you again, Etling, for the congrats. That's always appreciated. But we just want to, you know, we're just reaching out there. We know it's not something that's going to happen overnight. We have no intentions of that happening because we're not going to be here just for a day. But we do appreciate all of you out there for every like, subscribe, follow, every bit of social media, every question, every comment. So once again, if you have any questions or comments, you can shoot it here. If not, always go on down to our Couple of Nerds Discord. The link is in my Twitch account, where you can come on in and join. There are tons of things. You can join D&D Wife here for her comic and art reviews. I believe you have one coming up here on Saturday.
I do. It's going to be super fun. We're covering some new species references, so that'll be fun.
So yeah, so check that out for Saturday. That's going to drop there. But also keep an eye out for our streaming. D&D Wife and I both have been streaming quite a bit of Project Zomboid. So you can kind of see a little bit as we've been talking of this online community. In fact, in our Zomboid world, we're actually trying to build a community within the community in one of the towns with about 20-30 players, which is pretty crazy in an online game.
Very popular.
So definitely check out our streams in the coming weeks and see as that progresses. This server only lasts for 6 weeks at a time. So it is kind of a grab. So we will be probably streaming soon some of the events. So keep an eye out for maybe a special You Heard From Us live gaming session within our online server. So that'll
really
be
cool.
good. So if there's any other last final questions or comments, please send them out. D&D Wife, do you have any extra little hot takes you want to give tonight before we leave this episode?
Let's see.
I know I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't know about that. I think we should just focus on, I don't know, not being so, like, for me, I have to work a lot on patience, right? And also on putting myself in other people's shoes. I think that technology has done a little bit of a disservice where we can't really empathize anymore with people. And it's tough for us to think outside of just like the shit that's going on with ourselves, which admittedly can be very bad, can be, you know, very tumultuous. So I'm not even discounting what people are going through. But I encourage you to like put yourself in someone else's shoes. Be a little more patient. It helps lower your cholesterol.
Nice.
It helps lower your blood pressure. And yeah, you know, just try to, I guess, find the peace in the world. It's too short of a life to be out there stressed out and angry.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say probably, you know, my final point on tonight's topic is just really just know that there are tons of us out there. So you don't have to feel obligated to necessarily be a part of the first group you meet online. I think that's a big one too, is that you let the first group decide everything.
Just like a relationship. You can have
in this online gaming world, I have now met tons of you guys out there, and I've been playing games with you, and it has been a fun time. But I find that, sometimes you don't vibe. So you go out until you find the one. We liked 14, but now we love Project Zomboid.
Yeah.
So it's really just that thing where there's a home somewhere out there online for you. You just gotta wait. You gotta dig through a little bit and wade through some shit until you find that diamond.
Oh yeah, and even when you leave certain communities, they stay with you.
Yeah.
We still stay in touch with some of the people
Gotta
that are
love
part of our
Discord.
old guild, and we're still technically part of that guild. So I wouldn't even.
Some of
call
them
it
are in our
old guild.
Discord, so you can
Yeah.
always see them too. That's always kind of cool to see old gaming buddies in your
Yeah.
new Discords.
So these are lifelong friendships that you can make, and it's just all about creating that own community for yourself.
Right. So as always, I am Dungeon Master Eguile.
And I'm D&D wife.
And we always thank you again for any questions, comments, concerns. Please join us again next week at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as we jump in again. Now, as always, you can come to our Discord. Give us a topic. Give us a subject matter. Let us know. These are the ones that we're just kind of coming up with. But if you have something you want to gripe, bitch, or just kind of vent about, let us know. We're definitely willing to join you. And we probably have our own gripes or two.
We'll put our 2 cents in about it.
But thank you, everyone. Also, thank you at Link always for joining us.
Thank you
Very
so much.
consistent. We love it.
Love it.
But thank you, guys. And we hope you all have a great rest of your week.
Have a
And
good
we'll
night.
see you next Tuesday.
Take care of yourselves.
Welcome to DNDWife.